Happy summer! Hi everyone, I'm Barry Mitchell and welcome to Simply Science. This is the time of year we take a look back at some of our favorite segments of the past season, like the science of love, or some things you might not have known about fungi. But first, they're everywhere. There's no avoiding them. They're annoying. Of course I'm talking about city bikes. No. Pigeons. These cooing statue dwellers are everywhere. But there was a time, pre-internet and pre-telephone, when pigeons performed a very important service.
Their behaviors are amazing. Their biology is amazing. Their link to human history is incredible. And every time I tell people about this, they say, really? Those weird, gross birds that I see all the time?
He's up on the roof with his birds. He keeps birds. Dirty, disgusting, filthy, lice-ridden birds.
Pigeons. Mike Tyson raises them. Some duck for cover when they spot them overhead, and science writer, illustrator Rosemary Mosco just wants us to appreciate them.
I'm kind of trying to raise the esteem of pigeons in more people's eyes.
Feral pigeons are one of the masterpieces of nature. A pigeon may dance, clap its wings, take off almost vertically, or feed milk to its young. Hey, I'm talking to you. Come here. You say that pigeons are related to doves. Let's face it, there's no beauty bar named pigeon.
There's a scientific family of birds called Columbidae, and that's where all the pigeons and doves can be found. Pigeons are the exact same things as doves. When you are walking around deep in the city and you're surrounded by pigeons, you are really surrounded by a whole bunch of dinosaurs, and you're in a kind of a low-rent Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park highlighted theropods, dinosaurs like the T-Rex, and that is the group that birds evolved from. In researching this book, I realized that pigeons ride the subway all over the world. The subway is a warm box full of tasty food. So what I think we really need to do is print tiny subway maps and have them down at pigeon eye level, so that way the pigeons will actually know where they're going.
But when they're flying, pigeons don't need maps.
Long before we had the internet, people used pigeons to pass messages. So the thing about pigeons is they really want to find their way home. And if you take them to someplace far away from their nest, they're just aching to get back to their partner and their nest.
They get married just like people, and they stay that way till one of them dies.
That's nice.
So if you attach a message to a leg, they can carry that sometimes hundreds and hundreds of miles. We definitely know that they use the position of the sun. They can hear sounds that we can't hear, so they can hear very deep sounds called infrasound. They can smell their way home.
Say, do you know what pigeons have that we don't have?
Baby pigeons.
Pigeons have the normal eyelid on the top, the eyelid on the bottom, and then they have a third eyelid that comes across kind of horizontally, and it's see-through. A lot of animals have that third eyelid. It's called a nictitating membrane. So pigeons have this eyelid to kind of protect their eye, to clean it while keeping their eyes open for predators or for food.
Who eats a pigeon?
Well, besides people who eat pigeons all around the world, a lot of birds eat pigeons. You know, they're big, kind of meaty birds. They're just incredibly fast and good flyers. There are some wild pigeon breeds that people have developed. There are naked neck pigeons that just don't have any feathers on their necks. There are tumbler pigeons where when they try to fall, they tumble backwards through the air. There are owl pigeons that have tiny little beaks, sort of like an owl. There are Jacobin pigeons that have this incredible, almost feather boa hood going around their heads. High laughers really sound like they're laughing at you. So I feel like if you don't want to have that sensation, then maybe don't bring home some Thai laugher pigeons.
Tell us the name of the book again.
A Pocket Guide to Pigeon Watching, Getting to Know the World's Most Misunderstood Bird.
Coo, coo, coo. Do you hear singing and there's no one there? Do you smell blossoms and the trees are bare? As songwriter Irving Berlin says, you're not sick, you're just in love. From February, Ari Goldberg with The Science of Human Attraction.
Just heard on any radio or TV around Valentine's Day and it's all you find. People want to know about this crazy little thing called love. The most confusing, wonderful, gut-wrenching, undefinable emotion of the human experience. But as we flip through the stations this month, that hasn't stopped many a lucky or unlucky in love from trying to define it anyway.
True love is the greatest thing in the world. Except for a nice MLT, a mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich when the mutton is nice and lean.
Overrated. Biochemically no different than eating large quantities of chocolate.
Is there something to that? Can love be quantified along biological desires like hunger, or chemical reactions like that, scientifically? Or, to put it more elegantly, to answer the great bard Hathaway, while we don't understand the whole puzzle of what makes the Book of Love, from genetic to psychological to cultural influences, we do indeed have some understanding of the neuroscience involved. Many scientists break it down into three rough categories: lust, infatuation, and attachment. And of course, whether you like it or not, you'll hear about all of them across the airwaves all month.
Please, baby, let's get it on.
When we lust for people, in scientific terms, that's just our evolutionary drive to perpetuate the species. The endocrine system, our body's hormone regulation system, comprises, in part, our pituitary gland and hypothalamus. These stimulate our sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen, regulating our desires for sexual gratification, and therefore, in a more clinical sense, our innate urge to produce more little baby humans to create the next generation. As far as infatuation goes, this is that feeling in that first honeymoon phase with a partner when you're just crazy about them, can't keep your mind off them. The brain plays a major role here. MRIs have shown that the reward centers of the brain light up when people are shown photos of someone they're deeply attracted to. High levels of dopamine and norepinephrine, some of the brain's major reward and fight-or-flight chemicals, are released when spending time with loved ones, which can make us excitable, giddy, and physically feel our heart race. And conversely, it seems that serotonin, another neurochemical associated with mood regulation and a sense of control, is actually lowered during this phase. There's thought this could influence that early relationship feeling of almost compulsive infatuation, of not being totally in control.
God only knows what I'd be without you. Let's stay together. In this love.
Our last phase is calmer, long-term attachment. And as we all know, not every relationship makes it there. Once the body grows some tolerance to the spikes of lust and attraction, and some of the chemical levels normalize, sometimes there's nothing to keep it together. In long-term relationships, however, other neurochemicals come into play, like oxytocin. Oxytocin is sometimes nicknamed the cuddle hormone, and is involved in bonding, regardless of a romantic aspect. For instance, it is released during sex, yes, but also with hugging, childbirth, and breastfeeding too. Of course, there's a downside to all those happy chemicals too. These same neurochemicals that can keep us coming back to vices like gambling or drugs can be at play when it comes to things like coming back to a bad relationship, unhealthy emotional dependency. And sexual arousal is associated with a deactivation of parts of the frontal cortex. You know, the decision-making part of the brain. In fact, depending on how you define it, some scientists quite literally classify love's effects on the brain as addictive. Now, of course, There's plenty we don't understand about the science of love. As indeed, there's still plenty we don't understand about the brain. This isn't a guide for how to go about living your romantic life, any more than TV or silly little love songs are. But when it comes to how crazy love can make us, we at least maybe have a little more self-awareness now of how sometimes we can truly be blinded by science. For Simply Science, I'm Ari Goldberg.
The first two African American women inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame changed our lives. Here's Mike Gilliam with the story of their amazing accomplishment.
I worked very hard with my team.
Doctors Marian Croak and Patricia Bath will soon be inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Against huge odds and through science, they've persevered and changed our lives. Dr. Croak is a vice president of engineering at Google and holds some 200 patents. She's credited with bringing us voice over the internet while working at Bell Labs.
There was a decision made to combine the data and voice networks, and many different alternatives were looked at for that, and I was a very strong proponent of trying voice over IP to have an internet network, a network that connected people through the internet and then put voice traffic on it. And many of the colleagues that I worked with at the time doubted that we could ever make it work.
But Croak, who grew up on Manhattan's Upper West Side and graduated from Princeton and USC, would not be deterred. She and her small team worked tirelessly to put voices over the internet in a reliable way.
It took quite a lot of time and effort and failure to do it, but we eventually got it done. And I guess the rest is history. So you and I are talking over voice over IP right now.
That technology is the basis for much of our communication, especially during the pandemic.
Many times when you're making a wireless call, definitely when you're making a call from your home phone, you're using voice over IP. And in all the communications that are going on now through Zoom and Meet and other technologies, and other services are using voice over IP.
The technology has also been adapted in other ways. American Idol used it to allow viewers to cast their votes in the talent contest.
The first person to make it through tonight is...
That led Dr. Croak to another idea, instantly raising money for those in need.
I mean, we could do it for something like American Idol. Why couldn't we do it for people who are suffering from some sudden tragedy?
Croak says it's an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I'm happy that there was recognition for the work that had been done. It was hard work at the time, but I'm glad that people have been able to use the technology so much, especially during this pandemic.
Dr. Croak will go into the Hall of Fame with another New Yorker. Dr. Patricia Bath created and holds the patent on a type of cataract surgery that she invented back in 1986. It's called laser phaco.
Laser phaco is a new technique in which laser energy, rather than ultrasound energy, is used to fragment the lens nucleus.
Dr. Bath is a CUNY alum, having graduated from Hunter College before going on to Howard University Medical School and Columbia before landing at UCLA. She died in 2019, but she was the first African-American female doctor to receive a medical patent. Her daughter, Dr. Erica Bath.
My mother determined the way to use lasers. Lasers really hadn't been applied successfully for cataracts, and so she figured out the frequency, the temperature, the amount of time to really bring that type of technology to cataracts.
Dr. Erica Bath is an associate professor at the David Geffen UCLA School of Medicine, where she holds a number of leadership positions. She says her mother's invention used a smaller probe that allowed for quicker recovery times because the incision was smaller. Patricia Bath also co-founded the American Institute for Blindness, and while interning at Harlem Hospital, she discovered that African Americans were twice as likely to suffer blindness and 8 times as likely to develop glaucoma as their white counterparts.
What my mom noted was that at Harlem Hospital, at the eye clinic, there were no surgeries being done, which was different at Columbia, where they were doing ophthalmic procedures.
A woman who accomplished many firsts, she got surgeons from Columbia to come to Harlem Hospital and perform the first eye surgeries there, and developed a community ophthalmology system, providing eye care for those who couldn't afford it.
I would love for her to be remembered as a, visionary, innovator, pioneer, trailblazer, humanitarian.
In the meantime, Dr. Marion Croak has a message for all thinking of going into science-related fields.
So I would encourage young women, people of color, to please join me in pursuing STEM and just working in technology companies. We need you. We definitely need you.
I'm Mike Gilliam for Simply Science.
Last year, Carol Ann Riddell hung out with some citizen scientists in Brooklyn's Greenwood Cemetery. You know what they found? There's fungus among us.
Oh, wow, look, check this guy.
They are fungal foragers, mushroom hunters in pursuit of science at the Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn.
Okay, this suggestively shaped object here is a Ravenel stinkhorn. And it's called a stinkhorn because it has a stinky mass on top of it, which is designed to attract flies. The spores of this mushroom, the seeds of this mushroom, are actually sort of in this sticky mass, and as soon as a fly lands on it, it gets on its little paws, and then the fly flies off and distributes the spores. So it's just a really clever reproductive strategy. Can you smell?
Oh, it does smell. Tag along with the citizen scientist volunteers who co-founded the Greenwood Fungi Phenology Project, and you quickly realize how misunderstood the humble mushroom can be. For starters,
first of all, pronunciation of fungi or fungi or fungi or fungi, it's all correct.
And that delicious mushroom on your plate, it's not a veggie.
A lot of people think they're vegetables. They're not vegetables. They're in their own kingdom. And the question is always like, so what makes them so different? A couple of things. They don't photosynthesize. That's how plants sort of make a living. They photosynthesize. Fungi don't. They need help from other sources. And they're a little bit more like humans.
Wait, are they more like us than plants?
Yes, they're closer relatives.
To people?
To people, yes. Meet the family. We digest food the same way that fungi do. We use digestive enzymes to absorb nutrients from our environment. We do it inside our bodies, fungi do it outside their bodies, but the principle's the same.
The Greenwood Cemetery stretches across 478 acres. It is a National Historic Landmark, home to some 570,000 permanent residents, and a hub of nature, history, and architecture. The undisturbed landscape and tree variety also make for an attractive home to fungi, and there are more than 300 species here.
And some of them include undescribed species that have not been described by science. We've found some extremely rare fungi that have never been found in North America until they suddenly popped up in Greenwood Cemetery. I have a little DNA sequencing lab at home where we analyze rare and unusual fungi that we can't put a name to figure out what they are.
And documenting those species is important. Mushrooms may have a larger message for us. Sarah Evans is the manager of horticulture operations and projects for Greenwood.
There have been species of fungi documented that have not been seen here. They've been seen in more subtropical regions. That potentially tells us that we might be a subtropical region, that we have now shifted in our climate.
Another reason mushrooms matter, trees. Though some species can damage trees, Sigrid explains many have more of a romance.
Over 90% of all trees need fungi in order to thrive. There's this beautiful relationship, a sort of friends with benefits relationship between trees and fungi, where the fungi shuttle minerals and water to the trees. All right, let's check out this bad boy. I think it's a bluid, but let's see if I can lift it out. And it's not. This looks more like a gymnopus or something. And yeah, I'm gonna have to take this one home actually.
I'm Carol Ann Riddell for Simply Science.
There's a hidden treasure in northern Manhattan, a planetarium with some unexpected charms, discovered for us by Donna Hanover.
To the surprise of many, there is a planetarium in a basement in northern Manhattan.
So we're going to turn on time. You could see Mercury moving with respect to the stars.
It's in a science building at City College, and the director is Dr. James Hedberg.
It's a 30-foot dome, and we have 58 seats. This is our spherical mirror projection system, which we installed about 4 years ago. And with that, we can take anything on a computer and throw it up on the dome.
It was closed during the pandemic, so he kept planetarium fans involved with posts to the website like Mercury 3 Years of Celestial Motion. He put even more posts on their Instagram, like showing a solar system being born and revealing the light pollution from Earth's cities. But now the planetarium is open again, and first there were students from the astrophysics class.
Okay, so the lights are going to get dark. The constellations you know the most are probably all part of the zodiac.
How does this planetarium compare to more luxurious ones?
First of all, we use the same software as the big planetariums, but what we can offer that the big ones can't is a much more informal setting. What we can do here are live shows where guests can ask questions or say, hey, can we go to Jupiter? And I can say, of course, let's just turn around and go to Jupiter.
The informality means I could even try giving a star show myself.
This is Cassiopeia from Greek mythology. You can usually find her in the night sky because she's shaped a little like a W.
The planetarium is loved by neighborhood children, including Dr. Hedberg's 5-year-old daughter, Viola.
Saturn has rings that go around the planet.
The planetarium also has a hidden treasure, the original projector that is only rarely taken out for a spin.
This is the star ball coming out right now. It's part of the optomechanical projector system. You can see all these little holes in the ball right here. Those are the stars, each one carefully drilled in exactly the right place.
The Big Dipper.
Yeah, that's the Big Dipper. Inside is a really bright light bulb. As you get further down, you enter the analog computer, and this is where the planetary motions are calculated using gears and motors. It still works. It's amazing.
It still works?
Yeah, the light bulb turns on. It makes beautiful stars, too.
How did this planetarium get started?
This was built when the building was built. You have to remember, this was right after the space race, right, in the 60s and 70s, where space was on everyone's mind. And so all throughout the East Coast, there's high schools and colleges with planetariums in them, built on the hype from the Apollo missions.
There was a movie out recently called Don't Look Up about a comet crashing into Earth and destroying everything.
We discovered a very large comet.
Oh, good for you. It's headed directly towards Earth.
This comet is what we call a planet killer.
Could that really happen?
Smaller ones have hit the Earth before. It's not very likely we'll have another impact anytime soon.
What is it about a planetarium that delights people?
It immediately whisks you away from the normal world. It takes you back in time, takes you in the future, takes you to other planets, all while doing it with your friends and colleagues.
I'm Donna Hanover for Simply Science.
And that's our show. We hope you've enjoyed our look back at our favorite segments of the past year. Just a quick reminder, please check us out on social media. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Barry Mitchell. Have a safe, happy summer, and we'll see you in the fall with all new episodes of Simply Science.